The preceding maxim demonstrate that the first rule of something is permissible. As a result, some people in the society may believe that this maxim is applied to all matter, including smoking. According to this maxim, the basic rule of all contracts are to be viewed as permissible to be done and stipulate unless stated otherwise, to be unlawful and impermissible. In fact, President Maxim already clarified this misconception about whether it is permissible or not. This is due to the fact that where there is no dalil about prohibition of the matter, it is remain to original stated. However, if there are dalil about the matter, it is become haram or prohibited. As fundamental maxim of Islamic Jurisprudence, there are far-reaching implications for various aspects of Islamic law. Is that a thing must remain in its original status. The maxim asserts various aspects. The maxim asserts that Allah created everything in the universe for the benefit of the mankind, and that humans have freedom and responsibility to use the resources according to the divine guidance. The maxim also implies that everything is presumed to be legal and permissible unless there is clear and explicit evidence from the Quran or Sunnah to the contrary. Furthermore, the maxim presumes that until there is proof of change or alteration, a thing or a situation is considered to be its original status. The maxim derived from the several sources of Islamic law, including Al-Quran, Sunnah, scholar consensus, and analogy. Depending on the nature of the original status and the evidence of change, the maxim can be clarified into four types. The maxim have numerous applications in Islamic law, including worship, transaction, marriage, inheritance, and criminal law. The maxim aid in simplification of legal ruling and the avoidance of unnecessary hardship and confusion. In this essay, we will look at the meaning, sources, type, and example of the maxim, as well as the aid of understanding the application of Sharia. The Islamic jurisprudence knows scale of five values, namely obligatory, permissible, responsible, recommendable, and also forbidden, which is wajib, makruh, mubah, makruh, and also haram. It does not appear in the Quran or Hadith in that order. The Quran may use directly the word halal or derivatively, or it may declare there is no sin, no liability, no blame, or that God will not take you to task. For such and such, all which is implied to permissible. This can be also said that makruh or mubah, for which Al-Quran and Hadith use variety of expression. Thus, when we read in the source expression like God does not love, such and such, or when an act is descriptively as an opinionation, dislike, guidance, and so on, it could indicate a makruh, and the inverse of such expression would indicate a makruh. Because of the halal practice, jurists has been able to develop general guidance such as following legal maxim. Permissibility, ibadah is the basic norm of all things unless there is no evidence or to establish a prohibition. To declare something permissible or is not require a provide supporting the evidence beyond what is obvious to the sense. Plant food and animal flesh are considered clean if general practice and logic support this. There is no obvious sign of impurity. No further Sharia proof is required. This fundamental permissible encompasses what is either recommendable or indecent. For these are essentially pieces of advice that may or may not be followed, and the individual is not bound by them. This is why Ibn Hamza, a prominent Zahrin scholar, reduced the early mission 5 scale of value to the only 3, namely obligatory, prohibited, permissible, adding that recommend responses are basically sub-variable or permissible or mubah. Muslim jurors has also held by any textual infidem that is overruled to the persuasion of permissible must be decisively inborn meaning and authenticity, as established by the reputable reporting or transmission supply by a haram cannot be established on the basis of doubtful evidence, such as weak hadith or Quranic verse do not convey a clear meaning, in which case the subject government by the persuasion possibility. The two primary exceptions to ibadah mentioned by the Muslim jurists, a devotion concern ibadah and the sexual relation between a man and a woman who are not married. But the primary premise here is that act of devotion ibadah must be confirmed by a clear text. Otherwise, they are considered to be prohibited, and the sexual intercourse between members of the opposite sex is typically prohibited unless there is lawful marriage. Without the evidence of clear text is typically prohibited. Without the evidence without the evidence of clear text, there is no add or subtract anything from the 5 daily prayer on their contact for God. May Most High has established the maiden, which is he not be worshipped, and we are added to it. The Maliki are the most flexible in terms of permissibility of food from animal sources to that the other school may have classified as makruh or even banned. She is Hanbalis and Jafari, or whether Shiites are moderate, where Hanbali are restricted. The Maliki allow from the consumption of all types of land and marine creature and birds, including stray animals, jalalah that live on the waste, bird of prey, and worms and beetles. The majority of other schools has been deemed them makruh, if not haram. This is considered with the more open and adaptable chapter of Maliki jurisprudence. It is only a school or mazhab, for example, that is recognized in principle the validity of all secondary evidence adillah fariyah of Islamic law, known as all prominent school of Islamic jurisprudence, whereas most other schools are selective in admitting some, rejecting others. Halal is classified into 3 types. First, mubah does not damage to the individual whether he or she acts on it or not, just as traveling, hunting, or going far for a walk in the fresh air. Second, mubah whose commission is tolerant owing to need but is otherwise prohibited. This may consumption carry on other perception one life. The third type of mubah relate to the prohibited activity performed before the introduction of Islam, or in the case of converts, before they accept the faith. For example, alcohol was not prohibited until the Prophet recollected to Medina. Hence, it will consider mubah until the revelation of the Quran verse that is eventually pronounced is unlawful, which we can find in the ayat Al-Ma'idah. Al-Ghazali has also stated that apply mubah to the deed of a child, a mad person, or an animal is improper, as it's calling God as mubah, as an accurate sensi that is accurate previous to the birth of Islam are also not referred to as mubah. Mubah has again been subdivided into three types. Acts that are mubah when done infrequently but banned when that's done on regular basis. For example, using harsh word on the one child on some style is acceptable, mubah, but it is banned if done all the time and makruh if done it regularly.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Hafsi ISB653. Okay, today I will tell you about analysis and discussion for this assignment. Okay, the first is in Islamic jurisprudence in this medicine, this reflects presumption of the presumability or legally for all action and object. It is all shift to the burden of proof and of on a person making the claim that are something that are illegal or prohibited, but there are also uncertainty dispute about the illegitimacy and the certain action or the issues. This statement based on a larger Islamic illegal approach, which this is emphasis permission above invitation, unless there are strong reason for prohibition in order to enable people and communicate. It's also empathize how crucial is used to the logic and proof and when evaluate whether of the certain cause in conduct alone prohibited the Islamic law. Okay, for the next is the example and explanation. The original state ownership is a possession that is maintained until it's proven. Otherwise, the established foundation principle. The real property law in a practical term, this maxim means there are person who now in ownership in possession of the land given presumption of legitimacy when they are claim the ownership over it, but they are assumption held unless until the proven the claimant presents strong proof in the contrary. This is a legal approach. They are not only foster stability also in a property relationship, but also discourage arbitrary challenge to establish ownership without the substantial variance basis. The second one is the original state person innocent until the proven guilty is a foundation, is a concept not only uphold principle justice and fairness, but also serve safeguard unwarranted occupation and ensuring that individuals are protected from arbitrary judgment and emphasizing the necessary concrete evidence by before stripping someone of the presumption of the innocence. And the third is the original state. The contract is a validity until the proven otherwise. Validity and enforceability of the agreement between two parties is engagement into a contract, and it is automatically assumed to be a legitimate and the binding until there are proof the contrary of the bonus of the proof with the party making claim that the contract is valid, and they are provide solid proof the support the position their contract to maintain patience the validity. Only the challenging and successful provide evaluation by demonstration and its inability. Okay. For the next is the relationship with the istishab. As you can see, this is a concept. This concept of istishab in Islamic verse align is closely with the maxim and agreement in its original state in absence of a convincing evidence and contrary accordance with a assumption in a continuation prior legal and religious status up until they are unmistakable proof or to opposite. For the first is istishab al-wasfi. Individual accused the crime of presumption innocent until the proven guilty in a fair trial. The burden proof that the rest of the accused empathize there are significant fairness, justice in the protection individual right in legal proceeding. Okay, for the second is istizhar al-ibadah al-asliyah. They are presumed that original state in act and worship continues evident unless there are evidence to the contrary. For example, the place designed for prayer and is presumed maintain status prayer area unless there are clear evidence for suggesting otherwise. Then the last is istizhar al-hukmu. Continue legal is satu ruling until the evidence. For instance, for example, if individual known for some such a free saint marriage and a death, there are presumption this is state until there are unless there are evidence their presumption to present this another with a proof contrary or not. For the next is summary and conclusion. For the summary, the mubah or the original state of something is a fundamental principle in Islamic law. This asset must remain is the original state, and principle is derived from the various sources of the Islamic law, including the Quran, Sunnah, scholar conscience, and the anthology. The Al-Quran and hadith do not use a five value obligatory recommendation permissible and for obedience such as wajib, mandub, mudah, makruh and haram. In the same order, Muslim jurists have held any textual evidence of overall presumption of permissibility must be decisive in a both meaning of authenticity as established reliable reporting transmission. The Malikis are most flexible term of the most possible and food and just like animal sources, allowing them a consumption for all type land, marine creature and the bird, including the stray animal, jalalah, birds of prey, mantis and worm and such as beetles. For the last is a conclusion. In conclusion, we would like to say the people misconception about legal maxim might lead the religious misconception. It involves claiming that smoking is allowed and gauge the original rule something and its permissibility as an argument. There are following point which should serve as our guardians and is a possibility. Okay, the following points serve as knowledge of Islamic maxim. There are exceptions for every rule, and the original rule of everything is community does not, for example, apply methods worship in ibadah. This due to fact that any rule worship is banned unless there are dalil allow it. It is in critical recognized in a maxim constatation by the final portion, which is unless dalil indicates prohibitions. I think that's all from us. Thank you.